Hello friends, for another live with the dearest Glenn and Sandy. Before we start this live session with you, to share wisdom with you, I wanted to remind you, dear friends, we have to be the ones breaking the cycle. So if you have been judged, you have to be understanding. If we have been shamed, we have to be accepting the situation. If we have been shamed, we also have to develop compassion, and if we have been rejected, we have to accept rejection and move on. Hi Sandy.
Hi. Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. Hot, sweaty, good.
Well, it was summer this morning and now it's cold again. This is London style, guys.
Oh my God, I know. I'm sweating. I just did a workout and then ran here. So it's like,
Yes.
I was telling guys how important it is to be the ones that break the cycle. So we all have been suffering in our life. We have been rejected, shamed, hurt, but we don't have to be the ones that have been hurting us in the past. So it's very important to realize what made us suffer and transform it in the other way, in the opposite approach. I think that's the trick to become a coach also.
So you're saying the trick to become a coach is to first suffer and then become a coach? I love it.
To heal. So any situation that is very deep to you, that makes you suffer or makes you feel something very deep, it's healing, because you go deep beyond the scene, you go deep, you become profound. And so it's very important to feel anything bad that happened in our life. Since many people want to become coaches, I'm receiving messages like, Francesca, I want to become a coach. So it's important to understand that these are the values we should think of the most. So typicals. If you have been shamed, you have to be acceptant of the shame you received. If you've been hurt, you have to accept it and not doing the same to the other one. It takes a while because it takes a profound approach to yourself first, and then you develop it in wisdom.
I have different words to say the same.
Yeah.
So how I would say it is, the biggest challenges in our life and the biggest struggles offer us the biggest blessings and the lessons that we can learn from those moments. And that's how I have been really seeing things lately. It's like you look back at your biggest struggles, your biggest challenges, your hardest life lessons. They always give us the biggest gifts if we examine in that way.
Yeah.
If we don't fall into that, why did this happen to me? Instead, we go to, what can I learn from that situation? And that is the key to what you're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Evolving approach, helping people, helping yourself.
Yeah. But at the same time, yes, Glenn, I totally agree. How can you be compassionate if you have not been shamed in the past? Or how can you develop acceptance if you have not been rejected? So these are all situations we encounter in our life. All those people victimizing, suffering, okay, we understand. It's important to transform what happened to you that is bad into positive. So you have to be the one that is different from the one that has been hurting you. Because we often develop the opposite. So if we have been hurt and cheated, we cheat. If we have been rejected, we reject. It's the other way around.
To a point, you know, the best actors in the world didn't have to live in real life their acting roles, right? And all of us have in our human experience, we're sharing the same emotion. We have people coming and going in and out of our lives. So even if certain things haven't happened to us, if you are striving for self-awareness, you can connect on those levels with other people. I do understand there are certain things that if you haven't gone through them in your own life, you cannot walk somebody else through them. I definitely agree. There are certain things in life that has to happen. Otherwise, your knowledge is book knowledge and not life knowledge. That I totally agree with you on.
Yeah, I agree with with you also, Glenino, but that's why we call it acting, because of course it's not something you lived, so you act on it on, in my opinion, on a more surface level. But of course, people can be profound anyways. Yeah.
Right.
Now, Sandy, I'm sitting on a mountain of words.
Yeah, an actor's not coaching. Okay, so
you're sitting on a mountain of words, Sandy. I know you are.
This is
a mountain of words.
Yes, and first of all, when Francesca said you got to go through the suffering, and then you followed it up with and then the healing, and then you can be a decent coach, right? On the agreement side, I will say your first marriage should be treated like a first pancake. You got to burn it up and toss it. You have to. And I hope I never need to get married again. I'm in a good place right now. But if I were to ever do that again, I don't know if I could be with someone who'd not already been divorced, who'd been through stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to burn it up and toss it before you can really live it.
Tough life.
So yes, there. Then there are two things that I would shift slightly. Number one, even if somebody has suffered and healed, it doesn't necessarily make them a good coach. You guys are good coaches, but it doesn't necessarily, because often people who become coaches are people who are really screwed up. And so they kind of got obsessed and addicted to all of that self-help stuff. So when they're working with people, a lot of times they're projecting, right? And to be fair to everyone, we do all teach what we need to learn, right? So everything that I'm sharing, I have screwed up and I continue to screw up in my own life, right? But we as coaches need to just continually check in. How much of this is actually projection? Because not all coaches are good coaches, right?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I watched some, I've joined a couple coaching programs and watched a few things over the years. And I watched one guy talk about, you have to go deep with your clients. And he gave us his examples of deep conversations. And I was like, we go so much deeper in our work than this guy. And this guy's a very known, well-known guy. And I'm like, you're really basic. You're really not that deep in what you're doing. That surprised me a lot. And then it didn't, because the work that we do is right to the raw vulnerability of life. And that's the deepest place you can go. When somebody is vulnerable with you and they open up the parts of themselves that they're insecure about, that's the ultimate connection.
Yeah. And Glenn, I don't know if you remember when we went to hypnotherapy school, one of the things they taught us in the beginning, because most of us came from somewhere else first, right? You and I both started in our 40s when we did that. So most of us are coming from somewhere else before we become a hypnotherapist. And they said the people who make the best hypnotherapists are the hairdressers, the cab drivers, because they talk to people all day long.
Yeah.
They've got the important skill down, and now they're just learning techniques.
I remember this question.
I would call it another kind of hypnosis, but yes, indeed. Yeah.
All right. So here's a question, which is right in alignment with this. What makes the best therapist? What are the qualities of a best therapist? Is it training? Is it schooling? What is it?
In my opinion, you first, guys.
All right. Well, I have the right answer, but you guys first.
So please, your opinion, Francesca.
Well, I would say you feel something with your heart. It means that you are able to open up to the truth for someone else and yourself. So first, you have to work activating your heart, which means intuition, which means gut feelings, because we cannot follow, for example, the same protocol, the same approach to every client, as we know, because of course emotions are not involved. So we become observers of the truth. And in this case, we don't have to be too detached from the truth, which comes from the heart. So very analytical, activating heart. That's my opinion.
That's really nice. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. What do you think, Sandy?
So I'll use an example of massage.
Okay.
If you've ever had somebody give you a massage, but they've never been to massage school, because everybody gives massages, right? Most of us haven't been to massage school. There are people who are really good at it, who have never been to school. And then I've been to those very expensive massage therapists because I have a particular thing I want to work on. I'm like, yeah, you know, so there's an intuition in touch. There's an intuition in connection. And I remember, because whenever I would go down to Florida, my sister would be like, get your hands on my neck right now. Let's go. Right. Because I've been massaging my sister's neck forever. And then I did my training. Then I learned anatomy. Then I learned the body. Then I started doing all kinds of body work professionally. And then I came back and she's like, get your hands on my, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it was like I had to learn the skills and then unlearn the skills because it got me out of my intuition, which isn't a bad thing. I think, right, there's an old Zen saying that says you have to lose yourself to find yourself. So intuition first, that's where we all come from, and then learn the stuff. But don't let the stuff you learn make you lose your intuition. And that's often the case. You have to find your way back.
You guys both said it, and the common denominator in what you both said, what makes a great therapist is somebody's desire to care for someone else. Your level of caring, it's not your education, it's not your schooling, it's not what techniques you use. Your level of caring for someone else, your ability to care for someone in that way is what makes you a great therapist. And you guys both do that instinctively.
I want to be honest, Glenn.
Yeah.
I don't really care about my clients, to be honest.
You just broke everything nice I just said about you. You're canceled. Francesca is canceled.
It's different.
Canceled.
No, I mean, if my approach doesn't work, I'm not going to be offended. That's what I mean. Like, clients are one thing, friends are one thing, family is another thing. I think I truly make a difference of people I deal with.
I think what you're saying professionally there, Francesca, is you're not attached to the outcome, and that's powerful.
Sì, Sindina, but
that's the difference.
It took a while to develop this, but in any case, yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you didn't care about your clients, if you didn't care about people, you wouldn't be putting on events trying to connect people. You wouldn't be trying to get people to share. You wouldn't do all the things you do. So you're wrong.
So yeah, I think she's talking about getting trampled on by it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, caring doesn't mean you don't have boundaries and you don't separate your energy from the people you work with. But the desire to care for someone else. You know, there's that famous line, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
I care about the meaning of it more than the actual person, because a stranger is a stranger. But I care of the meaning of it because I can see the outcome I have in my soul, and I want to share the same. Then if they accept it well, otherwise I don't really care. Is
a stranger really a stranger, or just a long-awaited friend?
Well, that's a good point. Good point.
Right, you could say no one is a stranger.
In some sense. Yeah.
You could say no one is a stranger. You can also say you can't make old friends.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah.
So that's sort of both. One of the greatest healers ever has said, a healer in any realm, whether it's acupuncture or massage or therapy, any kind of healer is really only ever doing one thing. And I agree with this. The healer is seeing the image of the person being healed. No matter how they get there, they need to really believe it. And if the healer holds the space to believe it, that's the only way we can hold the space for someone else to be healed. And now I'm going to get religious on you. And you know I'm not even Christian. I'm Jewish with a Buddhist tattoo. But that's what Jesus did, right? Like they say he didn't see people for their dripping illness. He saw them for their light within. And if we're really being good healers, that's the only healing that's really happening. We have to believe in it.
That's, yeah, setting the intention. Like when I went to my Ayurvedic doctor, because I see him for natural stuff, before any session, he says a little prayer about his intention for our time together. And it's really cool, you know? And that's what you're saying. It's setting the intention, seeing that person in a healing light, and recognizing that part in them that is healthy and healed. And then just doing what we do to get in there.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful things, guys. I will repost this part. There is a Hypno Guru India that wants to join. Shall we accept him now or later?
Totally up to you guys. There's someone else saying hi from India too. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, we can bring him on for a few, let him check in and say hey. And then I'm going to bring up a cool topic after that.
Yeah, Hypno for India, a few minutes with you, and then we have to proceed with our session. Okay.
Bring him on. Let's see what Hypno Guru is doing these days.
Yeah.
He's got such a confidence in his voice.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey brother.
How are you, bud?
Hi.
You.
Talking about your confidence in your voice when you present yourself.
What are we discussing today?
We're discussing the confidence in your voice because you present.
Thank you.
In a very confident way, which is really key to helping anyone in what you do, whether it's stage, street, or just one-on-one. Confidence in that you know what you know to help someone else.
That is,
you definitely present.
And also very playful.
That is a great question. If you could just define confidence in a sentence or less, all of you, I'd love to know your definition of confidence in a sentence or less. How would you say it?
Awesome. Thanks, Fred. Yep. Go, Hypno Guru. This is for you.
Okay, so according to me, faith in one's ability is confidence. If you believe in your ability and you have strong and firm faith, so that's what makes you feel confident about your stuff. And when I joined your conversation, you guys were talking about healing. So I just wanted to add one little thing. As per my experience, healing is a self-initiating process. So we, as a therapist or healers, we work as a catalyst or we work as a trigger. So our job is to find that area of that person's mind or their life where they had already experienced healing or something similar to that, so that we can rely on that resource and we can initiate that healing again. So once healing is initiated, then it starts taking place all by itself. Then our second job is to progress that healing. And again, it comes on the point, if you are confident enough that yes, healing will start and healing will take place and you can heal that person, healing will happen.
Beautiful.
Such a politician. We asked you a question. You said yes, but let me talk about the thing I want to talk about.
The art of talking. Also, I believe you have to trust in what you're doing, because if you do something and you don't trust it, you don't like your actions, and then you are acting, feeling bad. So if you're happy about what you're doing and you trust it, you get confident. So it's all a matter of also practice, apart, of course, what you said, Hypno Guru. In my opinion, is trusting what you do. So don't do things because others are doing it. Trust what you're doing because you believe in it. So it starts with belief.
So there is one more thing which I would like to add to it. Anytime I see someone and when they visit me for healing or any sort of therapy and counseling, anything. So there is this affirmation, I shall call it, or there is this suggestion which I give to myself. I call myself more of an intuitive healer. Okay. So I say this to myself, that I request and command my unconscious mind to serve with the best of my abilities to help solving this issue for this person on both conscious level and unconscious level. So I say this to myself before I begin any session of any healing. And then I simply go with the flow.
Setting up a positive intention. Going back to your definition of confidence, I would give you a 50% on your definition of confidence.
She's a tough
because I agree with what you said wholly, but I think it's only half of the equation, because you said really believing in your abilities, essentially, right? I believe that somebody who's truly confident can say, I don't know, with conviction. So I can approach something and I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I don't know if I know the answer, but I approach it with the utmost confidence that I can say I don't know with conviction.
Again, that depends on the situation. Yes, there are scenarios where I don't know, where you don't know, where we actually don't know what's going to happen and how we can solve it. of course, I strongly feel that there is no shame in saying no to something which you don't know. There have been such cases where I found myself unable to produce desired results, or I couldn't match the expectations which I think I could generate results, or they were expecting out of me, but we couldn't get that result. So I think I don't feel any shame in saying, no, this is not something which I can do. I've been in that situation.
Yeah, so then you become a tree that bends, and you're right. So, because if somebody comes to me and says, I'm confident I'm going to get it right every time, I'm like, you know.
No, it doesn't. Yes, it's true. Agree. It doesn't work like that all the time.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't. See, this is how your learning happens. So that's why we are practitioners. We are learners. That's why we call ourselves practitioners. That's what practice is all about. Every day you're meeting new person. Every person is a new psychology. It's a whole book of psychology in the person's mind. Every case is different. You just find previous learning imprints, but you cannot say this firmly that you are going to crack this one. No, every time this happens, gradually the process happens.
I say that confidence, in my definition, is not being afraid to fail. That's how I see confidence. You know, and I know that's kind of a negative way to say it, because we're using the word afraid and fail in that sentence. But that's the way I connect to it. I just think, okay, it's okay. If I don't get it right, so what? You know, confidence is not being afraid to fail.
Yeah. And isn't that kind of what Francesca said when she said, I don't care about my clients, but we sort of reframed it to say, well, you don't have an attachment to outcome. You have an intention. You have an intention. And however it goes, you're about your intention. Yeah.
Don't let her fool you. I see right through her. She cares.
She cares. She cares.
See right through you, Francesca. That's so not.
Being aimless is also an aim. Being aimless is also an aim.
Unlimited, yeah.
Right. Say that again, Francesca.
I look someone I'm not. For example, sometimes people think that I am in a mood, I'm in another mood. I believe my facial expressions don't truly necessarily expose what I'm feeling. I'm telling you the truth. Of course, it's a different care. Because I'm a nice person doesn't mean that I care of all my clients. Like all my friends say, hi Franci, you're so nice to everyone. No, trust me, I'm not. So, so I don't think but it's, of course, we have to care for the others, but there is a caring and a caring. There are differences between the care we give, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
True. So this was my part, guys. Thank you so much for taking me. And whenever we are talking about hypnosis, anytime in future, I would like to share a induction which I sort of devised and created. I would love to share with you guys. I had shared this with a couple of hypnotherapist friends, and I just wanted to confirm if they have seen something similar. So Anthony said no, he hasn't seen anything like that. Lucas said no. So I am in touch with different hypnotherapists. So whenever in future we are talking about hypnosis or we are taking people live for hypnotherapy, I would love to share this induction, or maybe we can connect over a call personally. So I would like to share something.
How long is the induction?
It's more like instant induction. It's not that long, and it's not. I just want to give you that idea how I'm thinking about devising it and working on it. 5,
awesome.
10 minutes maybe.
10 minutes?
Maybe maximum 10 minutes. I mean, I think it will take 3 to 4 minutes for a layman, just because like you guys are therapists, so I'll have to explain a couple of things. That's it.
I love that idea. We should have a moment where we have a topic on hypnotherapy inductions and or hypnotic.
We should have. Yeah, yes. Because throughout the topics that we have been discussing throughout, I have seen your videos and this discussion. I've been part of this journey. We are discussing the topics which quenches the thirst of our intellectual self. I feel the layman is not getting maximum out of it, because the kind of topics we are coming up, we are satisfying our intellectual self inside. That's why we're talking on these topics. But if you share this chat with somebody who is just a common layman, they find it's very complicated conversation is happening. Something very difficult is happening. Though you guys keep it funny and you guys keep it to the point, you guys keep it crisp. But I think people would be more fascinated when they will see live hypnotherapy happening or hypnosis inductions happening. They will come to know more about what we are talking about, the practical application of things.
Yeah, we'll do our favorite induction day. We can do that next Thursday. Hop on with us early. We'll do our favorite induction. We can talk about that.
That's amazing. Love that idea. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, awesome. Good to see you. And I follow you. I love watching you. I follow you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Good to connect with you. We'll connect soon.
Yes.
Sorry. Bye. Bye.
It's a beautiful thing while you do therapy. See you soon.
All right, brother.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right.
Guys.
Now, here's a cool topic. My buddy told me this the other night, and it's been the topic of all my group meditation. And he said to me, he goes, you know, you can only be on your path. You can never be off your path, no matter what you do, because that's your path. It's not predetermined. Your path comes with every step that you take. And so sometimes you can be stopped on your path, but he said you can never be off your path. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have examples of people, my mother included. She followed a path because of others influencing her. So it is true that life is it's one, and we have to be careful to truly follow our path, because if we do things because others are telling us to do, it's truly wrong, and we can also go out of our path.
I don't think so, because that's still your path. That's still your path. That's still the lesson you had to learn, right?
You follow your intuition and your path, but then you can also be maybe insecure and you don't know how to act for your own life. You follow others' advices, and then you can also get out of your path. But of course, it's my opinion. Yeah,
interesting. First of all, I love it, and I love that concept, because people kind of need to smoke weed to think about it. But
I love it.
It's amazing. One of the things I'll often say to people is there's no such thing as wasted time, right? Because it's all toward the greater who you're becoming. It's all toward your evolution, right? So you're never off your path. And then, Glenn, you also said sometimes you get stopped on your path. I might say the same thing you're saying with refined specific words, and I would say it like this. There's the path, and then there's the path of least resistance, or there's the path of more resistance. So when you say stopped, I think you're talking about resistance, right? You're going anyway. You're going anyway. And I'll give you two quick examples. One, if you've ever known somebody who got liposuction to remove belly fat, often you'll see later what happens is they get weird pockets of back fat and things like that, because it's just going to find a way, right? It's like the sliding doors. It's just going to find a way. Another way of saying it is, I had a client recently who hated public speaking so much, and she had a corporate job where she had to talk all the time. So she left her job and became a florist. She's like, I'm just going to work with flowers. I don't care about the money anymore. I made the money. I'm just going to work with flowers. I don't like talking in front of people. I don't even like talking to people. Well, she became such a good florist that then she was invited to do these big speaking engagements. And she had like 10 other examples where public speaking was finding her. So whatever the reason, her path, there's a lesson to be learned in that type of engagement with others. It's going to find its way, like water's going to take the shape of a teacup, and then it's going to take a different shape.
Yeah. It's in that same thing. When people say, like, I don't have this frustrates me a lot. I get emails from people that join my Hypno Vault. They're like, I just don't have the time to do these sessions right now. And I try not to react internally or externally. But I'm like, I just want to shake them and say, listen, the next 10 years of your life is going to go by whether you like it or not. We all have the same amount of time in our day. Nobody has more time. Nobody has less time. Those years are going by. Why don't you get involved in your life? You're living it anyhow. And let's do things for you that will help. When you tell me you don't have time to devote to this. You don't have time to make your life better. So you're going to let these next 10 years dictate to you what your life is going to be. And 10 years from now, then you're going to start and realize you could have been so much further, you know, and it frustrates me. But that's just life. Right?
You're right, because really, they say I don't have time to do this. The response you're giving them essentially is you don't have time not to.
I know.
And you changed my sister's life, and I want to tell you that because in the podcast you did when you were my guest on my podcast, she listened to that one and she said, "This guy changed my life." He said, what did you say? Something like get off the sidelines and get in the game.
Yeah. Too many of us sit on the sidelines and watch our life, or just watch life, and we don't get in the game. It's like, even if you don't know how to play, get off the sidelines and get in the game and figure it out. Because watching your life go by sucks. I did it.
Since she heard you say that, she said, I got up off the couch, I went to the gym, I changed my job, I changed my lifestyle, I changed my diet, all within weeks. You wouldn't recognize her. It's amazing. So thank you. Yep.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm glad she connected with that. But it's true. We've all had points. Maybe not you, Francesca, because you do so many things. But
I've been in any game happening in my life, most of all, if I wanted to be, if I could be.
But I definitely spent years of my life in a job that was, paid good, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I sat on the sidelines thinking that's what I had to do, because I didn't know what was out there and what else I was capable of creating and doing. I didn't know. And I sat on the sidelines and never again, you know. Nope. And it's amazing now what's happening and what I've created since I got in the game. And anybody watching should just jump in. You got to take action. Otherwise,
and the word you're using, dear Glenn, is a game which doesn't have to be the superficial game that many do, but it's a game as you decide how to act, which value you want to add. It's like a game, so it doesn't have to feel heavy, doesn't have to be felt heavy, has to be felt as a game, because you are the protagonist of your life. Beautiful to call it this way.
There's an old line said, like for us, we meditate. So the line says, Sandy, you must know this one. Pray as if everything depended upon God. Work as if everything depended upon you.
Never heard that one.
You haven't heard that one? Okay.
No.
Yeah, that one is, I think that sums it up. Meditate, pray, open up that channel, and then take action as if that channel doesn't exist. Let them combine together and your life becomes magic.
You know, it's interesting because that sounds more along like the religious lines and stuff, right? So the way I know that comes from James Dean. and he said, dream as if you're going to live forever and live like you're going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
Exactly
the same. But it's so easy when, this is the word I'll use, and hopefully maybe you'll have a better word. But when I work with clients that are over spiritualized, sometimes they get lost in different spiritual ideas. They go from this healing modality to that, this person to that person, and they kind of get lost in this space without ever taking concrete action.
Or
and
not being grounded, you mean, Glenn? Not being grounded. That's exactly
the right word. And they just spend their time. That's a good word. But they spend a lot of time just in that grounded space. And they're never going to heal, because all you're doing is you're never giving anything a chance to manifest, because you're not taking action on the spiritual work that you're doing.
Well, the underlying belief behind those people who jump from healer to healer to healer. I can't tell you how many intake forms people say, I did therapy for this and therapy for that, and I went to a holistic doctor, so now I'm just going to throw hypnotherapy into the mix. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Because
this is the hairdresser style of hypnotherapy. No.
These people who jump from healer to healer actually have a baseline belief that I pay you and you're supposed to do something to me. And it's exactly what you're saying. I paid, you should do the thing to me. So they're paying to not have to take responsibility for remembering that they are the creator of their own life. And healers work very well as co-creators, but we can't do anything to you.
Totally agree.
Yeah, we do it.
At the same time, to be suspended in a spiritual world, following different practices, instead of being only practical, missing the spiritual, as many people around us, I believe it's better to start spiritual and then becoming, of course, grounded, because that's where you develop the vision, what's the best for your essence, what's your mission, and then you get grounded. As I had a spiritual phase, which I was feeling lost. Of course, it was a chaos that brought me who I am today, very positive chaos. But at the same time, I believe we cannot, of course, talk negative about being suspended, because then we get grounded no matter what, in my opinion.
I'd love to take this deeper into the conversation about what's the difference between, because here's the mistake people make with action. They say, well, I've taken action. It didn't work. Hi, Jackie. They say I've taken action and it didn't work. So it really comes down to the difference between action and inspired action.
Absolutely.
People are throwing the ball in the basket. They're saying my elbows are tired. I keep getting it in, but the scoreboard's not changing. Well, that's because you're throwing it in the wrong basket, right? So that when you go to healer to healer to healer and you say, do something to me, well, healers can help you. Any one of them, even the bad ones can help you, right? Any one of them could possibly hold that space to help you, but you're not recognizing that the thing you're doing within this is arms and legs, and it's not from your center. So action, yeah, but only if it's inspired. People are taking sort of wrong action and wondering why it doesn't work.
Yeah, inspired action, that is definitely key.
Important. Yeah.
Not getting lost in that ungrounded spiritual band-aid world. And it's so easy to do. One more book, one more course, one more thing. And it's like, no, just pick one. There's another famous saying. It's like, I lost 100 pounds. What diet worked for you? The diet I stuck to, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
So
exactly.
when it comes to different forms of meditation, some people really get healing comes from within. It absolutely does. Some people get lost in like, what's the best way to meditate? Should it be transcendental? Should it be guided? Should it be, they get crazy with all these definitions and terms. And it's like, just pick one. Do it.
And feel it.
Just stick with one of them. You don't need to learn every single teaching from every master out there,
Exactly.
The one that you stick with is the one that will help you, right?
Exactly. And what is it that we're really going for? So Sandy Meisner wrote some great stuff about acting, and he talks about there's a part of the script where the actor is supposed to, and if you're listening to this, I'm just picking up my bottle, is supposed to take a drink of water, right? That's in the script. And he says most actors will see the water, take the hand, lift the hand, grab the glass, lift the glass, drink it down, watch me swallow and go, ah, right? He's like, oh my God, if you want to be a really good actor, drink the water. Just drink the water, right? And that's what people are doing with their lives. They're like, watch me meditate. Look, I spent money on this. I bought Lululemon. I don't know why my yoga's not working, right? And they're not actually just drinking the water.
Performance.
And that's
basically, you're talking about performance.
They're performing for themselves, for their own lives.
Yeah. So as an actor, that's what I do. I lift the hand. I think you should see Olivia behind the camera when I'm doing a self-tape. My 16-year-old, she's behind the camera and she'll yell, Dad, nobody talks like that. Nobody moves like that. Why are you talking different? Why are you? Nobody holds their head like this. Stop it.
You're welcome for the free acting lesson, Glenn. You're going to book your next audition.
We can recognize when in life someone is acting or when someone is acting also from a truth point of view, because we can see many people that were very shy coming to our shared sessions, like group sessions, that were super shy. And then, of course, there is a bit of acting because they have to represent themselves as they were shy. They're gaining confidence. So there are different kinds of performances we have to precise.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's make it specific. Let's make it specific. Get up off the sidelines and get into the game of your life. I think the thing that keeps people from doing it is they have a belief that it's so big and it's so over there, I'll never get it. So how do we break it down? If you had a client in your office right now and they said, I'm stuck on my couch, what do I do today? What do I do tomorrow? What do you tell them?
So simple. You don't need to know the big picture. When you can't see your way out of the forest, just take the next step. Just take the, what is that next step? Let's not worry about 6 months from now, 2 weeks from now. Tell me the next step that you can take, and we'll let the path start to unfold from there. That's where I would start.
Yes. That's it. I worked with a woman, she was in her 60s, and her mother was on her last days. But her mom lived 3 hours away, and they never got along. It was always very bad. So this particular woman I was working with has 2 siblings. Those siblings have no money at all. My client had plenty of money, so she was the only one who could really help the mom financially. So she said to me, now I have a decision to make. If I go and I drive 3 hours there, 3 hours back, spend all the money, help my mom, she said, I'm going to be miserable. I hate the woman. We're going to fight to the last breath she takes. She said, so the thought of going makes me sick to my stomach. She said, so that's option A. Option B is I don't go and I feel very guilty. This was an amazing thing to work with. So we took some time, we had really deep, good conversation, and we got to how you make a decision and line up with it. So we got to a good place on that. But the piece I want to share with you is she then followed up with the things we talked about. She comes back a couple of weeks later. She says, Sandy, thank you so much. My life has changed. Wow, I made the right decision. And here's how I handled it. She said, now I have to, this is the part I want to share. She said, now I have to tell you, based on all of this and having an experience of making decisions in a new way, she said, I got to tell you, you're going to be so proud of me, Sandy. She said, I now have figured out in my 60s, I have figured out who I am. And I said, stop. I said, wait, stop. Right there. She's like, why? I said, because the moment you define who you are and who you're supposed to be, you limit it. You just put a cap on it. I want no cap. I want to know that who you are is someone in this moment makes a decision that feels better. And in this moment. So yes, having a lighthouse to go toward, having a goal, sure, no problem. We need direction. That's no problem. But don't be attached to the lighthouse. Don't be attached to the goal. Don't be attached to your clients, right? Just allow for the direction. But the only person who ever really knows who they are knows that in every moment they do one thing and one thing only. And it's what Joseph Campbell said, which is follow your bliss. That is the only way there. Otherwise, you limit yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
I like it. It's very true.
Right. Yeah. What if you guys had to define yourselves right now? What would you say?
Well, it's also very important to understand who you are, but not to get attached to the idea of yourself, because we transform, can happen something in our life that can change us. We can have suddenly, a woman can get pregnant and she has to develop another, of course, entity. So it's important to not to get attached to the idea of yourself and to follow, as you said, your natural self, which is in continuous transformation. And so people sometimes they reach a level, they feel who they are, and then suddenly something happens, and then they get into the chaos again, which is totally normal, but we have to remember this process of evolution.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It is key. It's an interesting concept at first when you can set goals, but not being attached to the outcome. That is really something that wasn't taught to me when I was younger at all. Making big life goals and making them clear and really visioning what it is you want. But within that, knowing that it's okay for it to grow and for it to change. You know, one of the things I talk about a lot with people in recovery, when you are creating your life from a place of turmoil, you're creating from such a limited point of view that you can't see what's possible in your life. And the only thing you're going to create is more of those limitations when you're in that low vibrational state in your life. And just by shifting into knowing that, you know what, right now I am kind of in this place that doesn't feel so good. And I know right now is not the time to vision my future because I'm only going to create more limitations. So let me just take the next step in my life, think short term, and then work up to building a vision for my life. But it's really important that we don't create more mess from a messy place. Another line I love is, we can't fix our problems in life with the same thinking that created those problems. And that's the same exact concept. So yeah, when you're in a limited place, don't create from there. Just take one step.
Exactly. So then people say, well, but I am creating from that one step. What you need to start with is an emotion. Let the emotion be your first manifestation. So I'm feeling crappy. I'd like to feel relief. Now, relief isn't the best place to feel, right? You're still exhausted at that point, right? I want to feel relief. Okay, I'm at relief. I want to feel hope. Okay, hope. Hope's not the best emotion. Hope means I don't have it yet, but at least I know it's coming. And then from hope, you can get to a little bit of passion and a little. So let the first 20 manifestations be an emotion. Because when you can get to the emotional place, you get different chemicals in your brain, which give you different impulses for bigger, better, higher thinking ideas. The lower your emotion, the more blocked you are from higher thinking. So get to an emotional place first. Let that be your job. What's one thing I can do right now that's going to make me feel a little bit better? And that's the answer.
Beautiful. Yeah, I would say hope makes you live and love makes you alive.
Yeah.
My poetic moment, guys.
That should be your like meme that you put on your Instagram. Just a photo of you and put that quote on it. That's a must.
Love quotes. I love because they're short. You remember them, and people can share it, can recognize it when they read it again. Because of course, quotes are everywhere. But sometimes they stay impressed in our mind, and we want to share it.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. You should definitely write that down somewhere. I'm going to give you this one. This is kind of mind-blowing, and it's all based on what we're saying. If you can predict your future, which is what we're saying, you know, as soon as you define yourself and where you're going, that's a prediction, okay? If you can predict your future, you can guarantee it's not going to be any better than what you're already looking at, because your brain, listen to this, your brain is a map of your past. It's only stuff you already learned, right? You got that.
Yeah.
So if your brain, so if your brain can predict it, it's only based on stuff you already knew. So the only way you can show yourself that you're really coming out of old patterns is you start being surprised and delighted by how it's unfolding. And that's why they say when you're manifesting, don't tell the universe how, because if you're telling the universe how, it's based on what you used to know. Your brain is a map of the past. So when you have a desire, let it be the emotion that you go for, and then things will start to surprise you in your life, because it's got to be something new and different.
Yeah.
I love that. And for some reason, it just sparked this memory in my mind of, I have zero desire. I know there's a lot of fake ones, but there's real ones too. I have zero desire to sit with a psychic and have them tell me about my future. I have no desire whatsoever. I'd rather live it and watch it unfold as I'm here. I don't want to know what's going to be. If they could really tell me, I'd rather not know. I'd rather enjoy this process of being and creating and just not knowing what's coming. I think that's much cooler, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to read the last page of the book before you start it.
No, but so many people do. They go to those places and they want to know, and somehow that's going to give them some kind of certainty or confidence in life, you know? And obviously, if it calls you to do it, go do it. It just doesn't speak to me at all.
Yeah, it's dangerous because then you act, you don't even act because you think your destiny is already planned. And then in many cases we see that people just wait doing nothing because they think this is that. No, we build our own destiny. This is for sure.
Yes, yes.
If you look at how a psychic is doing their work.
Great quote from Susie. She summed it up right there.
Can you read it?
If you create from a higher vibration and from gratefulness, you will receive great things. Yes, create from a higher vibration, and that gratefulness gives you that higher vibration. Absolutely.
Sometimes I feel people say what they read on other places. Can you explain us more, dear Susies? Because I feel sometimes I see sentences that are, of course, maybe taken from somewhere else. I'm not, of course, accusing this woman or man, I don't know. But it's very, I can see when I feel people telling things, they don't feel them. They tell them, but they don't feel them, which is a big difference. Saying something you feel, saying something because you learned it from someone.
That's a profound statement coming from someone who just said, I love quotes because they're small, quick, and concise.
If you feel them, you can express them. Certo.
I think she feels it. When I think of gratefulness is the way to get that higher vibration, because it is a higher vibration when we're grateful versus being stuck in a limitation, you know, a limited emotion, a negative place. Remembering to be grateful is a gift. And it was funny last week. Sandy's frozen.
No, Argentina. And also, I was frozen. I don't know what's happening to Instagram, Glennino.
Well, we're all over the world, and internet is the internet. The one thing that was really funny for me, in our life, we are the producers, the script writer, and no one else holds the pen.
I don't agree with that, because the connection we encounter in our life, they mean a lot in our life. We are not alone in this life. So we can be, yes, the protagonists, but also the people we encounter in our life, they mean a lot, and we forget about it.
So one thing I do, hopefully Sandy can pop back on, being grateful for life and not a victim to life. Love that. Last week after our live, I texted both of you a photo of me having a latte, you know? And
so creamy and yummy.
In that moment, I stop. Something as simple as having a cup of coffee and spending 10 minutes there. Remembering or being aware that I'm grateful for that moment. It makes the rest of my life better. You know, we all have those moments in our day that really are what you can call a God shot, or just a moment of connection, right?
But if you, beautiful, Glenn, I love it.
Yeah, a God shot, right?
Yes,
so
I love it.
Being aware of that coffee, except Jackie, you don't know real coffee. Only I do. None of you people do. All right, so you like boba, for crying to the corn, all right? But the awareness to remind ourselves that this is a beautiful moment of connection, and we overlook those little things. You know, we celebrate big things in life. I think it's more important to celebrate little things, just little moments that are nice.
Things, yes.
You know, little things. Yo, I drink lattes. You do? Okay, well, you drink boba too, so you're on a sliding scale, Jackie. So we lost Sandy, but that's okay. Well, she'll come back.
Sandy, yes, we lost her, but until only 5 minutes left. But who is Jackie?
Jackie?
You love Jackie, you and Sandy. Who is she?
She's just cool. She never comes on and talks to us because she's shy to be on camera.
Okay.
But she's just a cool person that likes to chime in, and
Hi,
I watch her on some of her lives, and she's just cool.
Amazing.
Even though she's joins us. She should join us and say hello one of these days. And then maybe we'll talk about your problem with these boba drinks. But we'll see. But yeah, those moments, Francesca, just taking a moment to realize this is a cool moment. And we forget to do that. And when we remember to do that, all of a sudden, our lives feel better, you know?
See.
And it's like, it's magic. There's so much magic in the little things in our day.
See.
And if we remember that, we see it more. And then life is just becomes a little playground. So that's one thing I just hope we can inspire people to do. Remember those nice little moments and let that bring joy into your life, because it will, and it does every time.
See,
life is
not only a combination of pasta and magic, but also of magic and awareness, as you get free from everything if you are aware. Well, Glenn, true Glenn.
Yeah. Well, this was good. This was a fun, awesome Thursday of some pretty deep topics. So it's amazing stuff.
See.
Oh, now time to go enjoy more of my day. I leave my group in a half hour, which I love that I get to do. And we'll see what else this day brings. So what do you got?
Your last sessions, Glenn, with younger people, with all these objects, very playful. You are super playful too. And I love when a therapist or a coach or a healer is able to be playful with that. And I think you, Sandy, and in this case also Hypnoguru, is able to do this. And I find it so special because not everyone is this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a sip of boba. I don't like boba. They're gross. Don't like it. Do you like boba, Francesca?
Do I like?
Do you like boba? Those little tapioca balls?
No. I would say I love, not really, either is a sport like tennis or horse riding with my horse. I love exercising alone with no weight, nothing, because my body is my weight. And people wonder how, but I truly also work with my mind in my body, as I control my body with my mind. I'm able to, if I want to have orgasm, like just by thinking, or so my mind is very powerful, let's put it this way. So I believe it's all a matter of practice, and that's why I love hypnotherapy and I love you guys always, because you can train your mind, you become powerful to the point that you don't need external help to focus on yourself. Hypnotherapy is an example.
It's amazing stuff. So we'll see everybody in a week. Amazing day, Francesca. Always love being here with you.
To see you, Glenino and Sandy, that we missed the last 5 minutes.
I know. Well, we'll see her next week. Jackie, stay away from tapioca this week, and you'll be fine. All right. We'll see everybody in a week. Amazing.
Bye. Ciao, Glenino. So nice to see you as always. Bye.